Hey guys, it's Ifismal here with my final version of What If Deku had omnitrix. Now the reason why I stopped it and then redo it, but then stopped it again, I have a good reason. Well, you see, first time it wasn't that good because I had no script, had a bad mic, or still a bad mic. And the reason I stopped the second one is because I kinda made Deku too OP at the beginning. So I gave him the Omniverse omnitrix, which is kinda OP. But now, I'm gonna give him the original omnitrix, or the original watch. Have him gain new forms throughout time, or get the new form of Omnitrix, like the original. But that's not important. That's such a video. Just like in canon, Degu's gonna be quirkless, because he's always quirkless, and I need Caution to be a horrible person and bully him. After years of Degu getting bullied, by mostly Caution, but after finally 14 years, we're at the beginning of the anime. Also, everything's the same. Deku's quirkless, he looks up to All Might, he still wants to be a hero. One day, as Deku's walking home, his spaceship is running away after being shot. But as the ship is about to explode, it shoots an orb, but then a couple seconds later, the looking ship shoots a group of orbs to follow it. We cut back to Deku. When he's sitting in class, teacher walks in and says that he could pass out forms to help you decide your future, but you can just tell that you want to become heroes. But after hearing this, students start using their quirks and start celebrating until Cotton causes an explosion and says, "Don't rope me in with those losers. They'll be lucky if they'll be able to become psychics from D classes." But then the teacher mentions they're going to become a hero, too. And this makes everybody laugh at Deku. Then Cotton causes an explosion and grabs Deku by the collar and gets ready to beat him, saying, "How dare you ruin this moment? It probably did it on purpose." But then the teacher stops Caution from attacking him. After class ends, Caution blows up Deku's book, helping to kill himself, which is horrible, and I don't understand why he wants to become a hero, even though he's such an asshole. But after the class ends, and Caution does all the horrible things. Deku starts walking home. As he starts walking home, he rethinks, why do I have to be quirkless? He gets to go home, because on the way home, there's an old playground he used to play in. And he sees a hole in a fence that him and his Caution's gang went in when they were younger. So he starts to walk through it. Deku sees something in a reflection over water. But then he sees the log that Caution threw off, and Deku went down to help him, which made Caution hit him for some reason. But as he goes onto the log, he looks in the river. But as he looks in the river, he sees something in the reflection. When he turns around, he sees a meteor. So he starts running. Before he can get off the log, the meteor hits the floor and destroys the log, making him fall into the river below. Luckily, it's not that deep, so he's okay. But then another river or crater is just there with an orb in it, with Deku in there too. As he goes near it, the meteor opens up to reveal the blick is some sort of big chunky watch, clunky. But as he gets close to it, the watch jumps and attaches Deku, and which makes him start freaking out and trying to pry it off. But after a few minutes, he gives up, and hears an explosion. That's when he sees two more meteors hit the city. After looking at the watch a little bit, Deku runs to the smoke. But as he gets there, he sees Death's arm fighting some sort of robot drone, and Kimoni Ru's also fighting one of these droids, or drones. Then Melody gets knocked back to real that she's fighting a giant robot or something. But as she's getting up, she gets electrocuted by the robot and goes down. As Death's arm tries to help her to see if she's okay, but then the robot shoots him with a missile and sends him flying. But as the robot turns to look at Deku, and a crowd near him, it scans him with some sort of green light. But the light stops and zooms in onto Deku's watch. The green light then turns red. A bunch of weapons appear on the robot. Then Deku says, "Uh-oh." It runs away. But as he starts running, he's getting shot up by a bunch of lasers, and he's barely dodging them. But then the robot shoots a missile and sends him flying. As he lands on the ground, Deku accidentally lands on a watch and opens it up. And as the droid points his weapon at him, Deku looks at the watch and sees that it's open. That's when he says that maybe I can take it off now. And as he pushes it, a huge light appears. As the robot starts shooting at him, the light disappears and it reveals Diamond Head, or whatever Deku, or just some sort of diamond from front of the Deku. Deku says, that hurt. Kind of. And Deku says, what happened to me? But then he sees a red dot and then a missile. This one hits him directly and launches him into a dumpster. But as the drone tries to check on him, the drone gets knocked back by when Diamond Head pops out. Diamond has a few cracks in him, missing a couple pieces on him. But he's still retreating. So Deku asks, what the hell is this thing? We're looking at the watch. But you know, on his chest. Then the robot starts shooting at him. So Deku puts his hand up in protection and says, stop! Then he shoots some sort of crystals out of his hand. Then he looks at his hand and says, he can shoot crystals? He then wondered what else he can do. He then turned his hand into a blade. Then he gets shot with another missile. Then he sees a second drone. Says that these robots are really getting on his nerves. As the robot tries to shoot him, Deku creates a wall. As the robot tries to fly over the wall, I can't speak today. He gets grabbed and smashed by Deku. And Deku looks at the reflection in a puddle or diamond head or something, diamonds or something. I don't know, he just looks at the reflection. It's like, this is so cool. He has a quirk. Does it count as a quirk? Considering that the watch gave him powers? He has a support item? But what support item can do this? Like what support item can give him powers? Maybe, but he starts mumbling. Then he hears explosions and sees smoke. I remember, there was a big one. As he starts running, he sees Caution fighting this thing. He's saying, die, you damn toaster! The robot's getting scratched. That's when the robot hand begins to light up. Then giant laser appears. Before Caution can hit, he sees a huge diamond wall, and Diamond Guy appears right in front of him. Or some sort of diamond guy. Diamond Guy. I don't know what to call him. That's when the Diamond Guy says, get back! And he says, buzz off! He's not letting him take some crystal guy. Take his victory. Can't speak today, I don't know what's wrong with me. But Deku says, can't you control your ego for once? He contains Caution some crystals. He throws him to the side. Then the robot charges at him and crushes Deku. Deku tries to stab it, but the robot jumps and squishes him again. That's when Diamond Hand creates a spiky ball on him, destroying some of the robot's legs. The robot soon jumps off and it hits lasers. But as he shoots at Deku doesn't have enough time to create a shield, so he blocks it with his hands. That's when he sees that it bounces off. That's when Deku says, is that the best you got? Because he just got an idea. As he says that, the robot looks at Deku and puts both his hands together and gives away the biggest blast yet. But as he shoots Diamond Head creates a ball, some sort of weird ball, and reacts the huge blast as a bunch of mini lasers at the robot. Ends up cutting it into parts. But as the robot remains to explode and create some smoke, Deku is left there exhausted and surrounded in smoke and dust from the nearby buildings that were destroyed. And the flaming robot remains. Then Deku hears a set of beeps before turning back to human. As he looks around, he hears a couple voices, but then Deku looks at the watch and thinks to himself that if they find out he has this, they will take the watch away. So he starts running. As he gets home, he looks at the watch and thinks to himself that he can't believe he ran away from heroes. Then again, those drones were after the watch, and he couldn't move it, so who knows how they would have taken it off. They might have chopped his hand off or worse. But wait, what is this thing? It came from some sort of probe, or some sort of orb from space, kind of like a pod. That's when Deku thinks to himself, maybe it's from space? Maybe some sort of device that was sent to space to keep it safe? But again, there was a bunch of drones after it. Where would they send drones into space and knock it down where it could get captured or found? That's when Deku thinks, maybe some sort of weapon. But where did it come from? That's when Deku thinks to himself, maybe it's alien? Because what type of weapon can change people into monsters? Or whatever it turned him into. But Deku doesn't know that he's currently in space. There's a spaceship with some sort of robot walking. But as the robot enters the room, he reveals some sort of pod, almost a dead squid in there, somehow barely alive despite losing a limb or two. As the squid sees the robot, he asks if they retrieved it. But it tells him that robots were held up by humans, but were destroyed by a human wearing the omnitrix. So then he asks, how could humans hold them off? This one robot claims that it seems like humans have evolved and gained abilities for self-defense, like organic material manipulation, advanced strength and size adjustment. There's likely more, but the robots can only counter those before being destroyed. That's when the squid said, send as many as we have to get the omnitrix. This says that we cannot, that they're not in the current situation, as they were repairing a ship. Servo Cax. That's when Booker says, summon them. That's when he asks, who? Booker says, it doesn't matter. You can summon Malware, Kuiper, who knows, maybe as much can bring the omnitrix back. Booker says, yes sir. Before leaving, I sent the worker to send a message. We now cut to Kuiper sitting down, looking at a piece of paper. But his communicator then rings. As he looks at the voice, he asks, what is it? But Kuiper says the Billkick is offering a priceless omnitrix. Like anybody would bring it to him if they're able to get their hands on it. And Kuiper stands and whistles for his dog. He says that he might have one already, but he could have a better one. Soon he asks if it's finished. So he says it is. Try to keep in one piece. A cloth then puts some sort of second watch in the dog's color. Kuiper says, don't worry, it might be inferior, but it's made to by the omnitrix. We now cut to a morning where we're sleeping Deku. Deku was kind of sleeping. He's sleeping on his desk and he's drooling on it. His mom tells him, breakfast is ready. That's when we see that Deku has stayed up all night drawing the watch, how to use it. But sadly, he couldn't figure out how to remove it. But he did make a surprisingly good drawing of Diamond Head and the watch. But after Deku finished eating his breakfast, he did look at his phone and searches for a nearby place to train. Finds a beach has a bunch of chests on it. As he arrives, he looks at the watch and thinks himself, let's see how strong that crystal guy is. But as he opens up, he notices that the silhouette is different. But he noticed that the strong crystal guy is now replaced with some sort of weird guy with some sort of flaming head. That's when he turns it and realizes that there's multiple forms. That's when he pushes it and turns into forms. That's when he grabs his notebook and writes down multiple forms. He then looks at the watch that's on his shoulder. Now, I think so. Last time I transformed by myself, I can choose when I turn back to normal. And even though Ben 10 couldn't do this in the canon story, let's say in this story, by pressing the watch, Deku is allowed to turn itself back into human form. But as Deku writes this down, Deku lost the watch and then at the beach thinks to himself that in 8 months he has a lot of work to do. Because I'm going to do a small time skip. That's probably about 8 months. In this 8 months, Deku's learned about almost everything about every transformation. Like their main powers, and even drawn some personally good drawings of them in their notebook. And that reminds me, did I just name Deku's forms the original names that Ben named them for his stories easier? Or do you have some ideas what Deku's should call his alien forms? Like I was saying, after 8 months of trying, Deku glimpsed the entire beach and figured out that the watch has a time limit of 10 minutes and recharge time of 5 minutes. After Deku figured out this, he gets dressed and starts walking until he reaches UA entrance exam. That's when Deku says, with this he'll become a hero by looking at the watch. Because I'm going to end this video here. It's probably going to be a short video, and it's probably not a good one because I'm sick. There's a little moment where I had to cut like a good 20 minutes of me coughing. So I'm sorry. Don't forget to check out my Discord, Instagram, the description below so you can go beyond plus ultra.